future. It's a real pleasure to be out here. It's a pleasure to be out here and not, I have to say, be doing the Rousay lap. Despite Joe kindly lending me a bike to do the lap a couple of years ago, I think I still wake up with night sweats at the Surin Bray ascent that just seems to be never ending. But look, it's a real pleasure. It's one of the privileges of the job is getting out to the Isles. I wouldn't suggest that life on the mainland is the rat race, but there is a different pace of life. I think you feel more connected to the community when you've got a bit of time and space to enjoy it, and it's something I don't think we do enough of, which is why I think this project is so important and so welcome. I didn't have the pleasure really of knowing Eleanor, but she was clearly somebody that in a very short space of time had formed a deep connection both with the people but also with the place and with the community. And I think particularly in this day and age when there are so many distractions, where life seems to kind of roll on at 100 miles an hour, finding the time and the space to connect with your environment, with the people in that environment is all the more important. And I think this initiative, this Boardwalk, exemplifies that. So, as I say, it's the sort of thing that I think development trusts can and should be taking a lead on. They allow individuals and communities to make the most of their natural environment. So I hope it gets a great deal of usage, not just by those of us who come out to visit now and again, but probably more importantly for the residents in Rousay and Egglesay and Wyre, giving them an opportunity to connect with what is a stunning landscape. Even with a low cloud, you can see this is a very special place. So with that, I'm going to try and not make a Horlicks of this.
Right, Katie's going to pull the other end. Yeah.
Oh right, okay. A two-person job, right? Ready? 2, 3. You see, there you go. Thanks very much.
Yeah, well, I'm Scott Barnett. I'm a project manager for Casey Construction. No, this will be the bigger of the ones that we've done. We've done a boardwalk out at Happy Valley there, just out in the west mainland, and we did sections of boardwalk at out in Durness at the RSPB Reserve out in Durness as well.
My name's Paul Green. I'm a landscape designer. And I was very pleased to be asked to help on this project by Eleanor Barr, who was my client.
This is definitely the most exposed one that we've done. I think Billy would definitely attest to that. What you try and do is you try and maximise or minimise the cutting that you do on site. So you do most of your cutting, well, pretty much all of your cutting off site. In this instance, obviously we had a compound at the top of at the entrance to the site, so any cutting was done there. So you're not actually, you got to remember you're dealing with plastic, so you can't be depositing plastic on the moor.
The brief was really to try and respond to a public consultation exercise which had taken place, I think, a year or two before I got involved, which engaged the local community in saying what would they like to see as part of a programme of development. And this boardwalk was a suggestion which came from a number of residents, thinking that it would be lovely to get access to the moors, and particularly if they could get access to a place where they might see Ireland in all its beauty. And this location was the case. It was decided that it would be a good place to have a boardwalk. But in terms of responding to the clients, we had a series of stages where we did some initial sketches, surveyed the site, of course, make sure that we could get a boardwalk given the gradients, given the location, that was key. Avoiding any particularly sensitive parts of the habitats, and also ensuring that we wanted to get a spot which made best use of the view. So we've got two viewing points where we've put seating with a backrest, which will eventually be colonised by plants.
It was just because of the bird breeding season. We started at the beginning of September. Yeah, so in November we got finished.
Tough weather. And actually the ground conditions were pretty tough as well. But no, I was very impressed with the cases and recommend them for doing this sort of job at any time. Yes, they're good.
Built to last.